Okay, one of the reasons why New Zealand is the best destination for students is because the qualification in New Zealand is internationally recognized. Okay, yung New Zealand schools, universities, and other institutes are known worldwide for their high standards. Okay? Anong ibig sabihin nito? Pag nag-aral ka dito sa New Zealand, kung hindi mo man gamitin sa New Zealand ito, kung gamitin mo man sa Australia, sa Canada, you can really use this. You can use your education in New Zealand as your edge. Okay? Walang talo. Okay? Because it is internationally recognized. Umuwi ka man sa Pilipinas, gamitin mo to kahit sang lugar. No? New Zealand qualification is internationally recognized. Alright? Second benefit, pag nag-aral ka sa New Zealand, of course, second benefit is the salary proportional to qualification level. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Studying to New Zealand can increase employability. All right? The higher the qualification, the more you will earn. Okay? Your level of qualification will have a big effect on how much you can get paid in New Zealand. Right? Lalo na kung nag-master's degree ka pa. Okay? Lalong mas may chance na mataas yung makuha mong salary. Okay? Sabi nga dito, and of course, this is the reason why it is somehow best to get a degree or study in New Zealand. But of course, maraming factors para makakuha ng malaking trabaho and one of the malaking sweldo, no? But one of the factor is earning a degree in New Zealand, no? Okay. Now, next, pangatlong bonus, pag nag-aral ka sa New Zealand, your New Zealand qualification can gain points under the skilled migrant category. Remember guys, kanina, I was talking and sharing about my story about skilled migrant category na hindi ko ma-reach yung required points na 160. Nung nag-aaral ako sa New Zealand, I was able to gain points and even added up para ma-reach ko yung 160 points, no? Because of my New Zealand qualification and because I earned it. Alright? And I think the best person to discuss it, as you can see, meron tayong table. The best person to discuss it is si Lorna, our licensed immigration advisor. Lorna, would you like us to give an example para mas lalo na maintindihan ito?
Yes, Aina, definitely. No, tama yung sinabi mo. Talagang completing a New Zealand qualification has numerous benefits, especially if they have plans of pursuing residency in the future. Bakit? Kasi kagaya nga nung sinabi mo, upon successful completion of their study, an applicant can claim outright points for their New Zealand qualification under the EOI point system. No, as what they can see on their screens, kapag nakatapos sila ng level 4 to 6 na qualification, they can claim 40 points for that. And then kapag level 7 or 8 qualification naman, level 7 is equivalent to a bachelor's degree. And level 8 is a postgraduate qualification, they can claim 50 points for that. And kapag naman, level 9, which is a master's degree, or level 10, a doctorate, ang kanilang natapos, they will be able to claim the maximum of 70 points sa EOI point system. So, napakalaking bagay nun, di ba?
Yes.
Pero, oo, tama. And ang mas maganda pa dyan, meron pa silang bonus points na makukuha kapag nag-aral sila ng postgraduate qualification. For the level 7 or 8 na qualification, they can claim an additional 10 bonus points. And kapag level 9 or 10 naman ang natapos nila, they can claim an additional 15 points. No? So, wouldn't you agree, Aina? Di ba tayo talagang ang laking tulong yung points na na-claim natin upon successful completion of our New Zealand qualification.
Yes, no? Malaking tulong ito. Alright? Thank you, Lorna. Okay, so pang-apat, when you study to New Zealand, you can work while studying. Alright? You can work while studying. You may be able to work part-time, 20 hours per week, and then full-time during scheduled holidays. Alright? Lorna, anong kagandahan nito pag nag-aaral ka or habang nag-aaral ka ay pwede kang magtrabaho?
Yes, actually, Aina, maraming benefits, kapag nagtatrabaho ka habang nag-aaral. But I will name just two. Okay, so yung number 1 would be, of course, yung economic benefits. Siyempre, kailangan practical tayo, di ba? Imagine, habang nag-aaral ka, you're already earning. Because, like what you said, they're allowed to work 20 hours a week. And syempre, yung income na nakukuha mo during your part-time work, although hindi naman ganun kalakihan, pero at least nakakatulong yan for you to sustain yourself while you're studying in New Zealand.
Totoo.
Oo. Pero di ba, Ains, may mga ibang clients pa nga tayo, especially yung mga nasa healthcare field, na although they are only working part-time, they are already earning more than the minimum wage.
Oh, yes.
Oo.
Totoo yan. Witness ako dyan.
Tama, di
Yung mga
ba?
clients natin.
Parang si Christine, kanina, yung pinakita mo, Christine and Patrick, ganyan.
Yes.
And oo, tapos yung second benefit naman of working while studying, of course, habang nagtatrabaho ka, you are already gaining New Zealand work experience. Sa
Yung
totoo lang,
pinakamaganda.
tama, sa totoo lang, no, yung mga Kiwi or New Zealand employers, of course, they prefer applicants with local work experience na.
Yes.
Because, oo, syempre yung mga applicants na yan, they are already familiar and have adapted to the New Zealand work culture and environment. So it means, less training na lang yung kailangan gawin sa kanila ng employer and they can hit the ground running, di ba?
Yes. Thank you, Lorna. No? Is this clear, guys? Malinaw ba sa inyo? Alright, so the fifth one, pag nag-aral ka sa New Zealand and you took a higher qualification, you may bring your partner. Okay, I think lahat nakaabang dito, no? I will call on Glyza. Actually, Glyza, this actually happened to you, no? Kasama mo rin yung buong family mo nung pumunta ka dito sa New Zealand nung nag-aral ka. Is that right?
That's right, Ains. Nung pumunta kami dito, when I took up this higher program, that basically eligibles me to get partner's work visa for my husband. Yan mismo yung nangyari sa amin. Dala ko siya dito and the visa that he's holding is an open work visa. So basically, he's able to work full-time. Tapos ayun, didiretso ka na ha dun sa next item. Kasi package deal kami, no? Not only my partner, but with our dependent. So as you can see dito sa screen nyo, di ba? For education, subsidized po ang education for kids ages 5 to 19 and 320 hours naman na early childhood for ages 3 and 4. And apparently, pareho namin yan na-avail. Kasi when we arrive here, 4 pa lang yung daughter ko. Tapos after few months, she reaches 5. So, yun, pareho naming na-take advantage. But you know what? Again, when we arrive in New Zealand, we're whole eye. No, I'm holding a student visa. My partner is holding an open work visa. Pero regardless of our visa type, no, na-avail namin ito. So, hindi namin kailangan maging residente during that time to take advantage of this benefit right away. No, na-enjoy namin. And napakabigat nun, Ains.
Totoo yan, no? Ano po ang ibig sabihin? Para mas malinaw, ano ang sabihin ng subsidized education? Nagbabayad ka ba ng tuition
No, Ains. No, so subsidized.
Parang almost free.
That's right. Yeah, so subsidized ng government, meaning almost yung full tuition fee, no, or yung cost ng education ng anak. That's right. Si gobyerno ang may sagot. Actually, we do pay, but donation. No, again, donation.
Again, donation yun. Ano bang meaning ng donation, guys? Alam nyo naman, ang meaning ng donation.
Oo. So napakalaking bagay, Ains, no, that actually we get to enjoy our kid, no, isa lang. Our kids, free education, no, when we are
free and quality education.
Exactly. Yes.
And not only that, yung mga toddler, diba? Libre sila ng 20 hours per week sa kanilang early childhood education. I mean, wow, diba? So I want to ask your viewers, this must be something you all want, okay? Kasi kung nasa Pilipinas ka, no, let's say, mahal din ang tuition fee. No? Lalo na kung gusto mong magkaroon ng quality education ng anak mo. Alam naman natin, iba't iba ang rate ng tuition fee sa school sa Pilipinas o kahit sa lugar, no? Depende pa yan sa level of quality, no? So, paano pa kaya kung yung mga nanonood din sa mga UAE, no? For sure, sa ibang bansa, iba rin yung rate. So, is this something important? What do you think, guys? Importante ba sa inyo na magkaroon ng quality of education tapos almost free pa? No? Malaking tulong ba to sa inyo? Type in yes. Sabi ni Alexandra, yes! Yan. Wow! Alright. Great. Okay. Alright, marami nagsasabi ng wow sa message. Everyone is excited about this. That's correct, guys. You can be with your husband, wife, or partner while living and working in New Zealand. So, good news yan. Alright? Okay. 7 benefit. After studying to New Zealand, you may be eligible to apply for a 1 year or 3 years work visa extension. Okay, I repeat, no? After studying, pag nakatapos ka na ng let's say 1 year na pag-aaral, after studying, you may be eligible to apply for a 1 year or 3 years work visa extension, no? Or ang tinatawag na post-study work visa. Lorna, can you explain us ano ba yung post-study work visa? At bakit tinatawag tong leading towards residency?
Yes, Aina, definitely, no. Talagang malaking advantage ang pagiging eligible ng isang international student to the post-study work visa. Kasi during this time, they are already allowed to work full-time for any employer in almost any job in any region of New Zealand.
Mhm.
So, itong time na to, habang naka-work post-study work visa sila, would actually give them time to look for a full-time skilled job after their studies, which can eventually pave the way to residence. No? So, kung kunyari level 8 or 9 qualification ang natapos, they will be eligible to apply for that 3-year post-study work visa. So, i-share ko lang ng konti, Ains, no, yung personal experience ko.
Yes, gusto nila yan, Lord.
Tama. Kasi habang nag-aaral ako noong 2015, no, hindi ako nag-part-time work but I chose to do volunteer work, so it means unpaid. Nag-volunteer work ako as a marketing assistant for an immigration company. So, that time, or that allowed me to showcase my skills and potential contribution to my employer. And true enough, after ko matapos yung studies ko, and when my post-study work visa application was approved, my employer offered me a full-time skilled job as program administrator. So, yun na ang naging na-lead to my residence application.
Wow. O, diba? Napakagandang story yan, no? For sure. Kasi everyone is, I think, curious din sa story nyo eh. So, thank you. Thank you for that, Lorna. Okay, next one is actually connected sa extension visa or sa post-study work visa. If you have a work visa or post-study work visa that allows you to stay in New Zealand for 2 years or more, you are eligible for publicly funded healthcare. Okay, I repeat, you may be entitled for healthcare benefits no, if you have a work visa that allows you to stay in New Zealand for 2 years or more. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Kahit hindi ka pa residente at may work visa ka pa lang ng 2 years or more, then pwede ka na no, dito sa healthcare benefits or sa libreng healthcare system no, ng New Zealand. Lorna, nangyayari ba talaga to sa mga estudyante natin ngayon?
Oo naman, Ains, di ba? Aminin mo, tayo din, nag-benefit dyan. Subsidized healthcare ng New Zealand. Oo. Kasi, yung student visa duration nila, no? Plus their post-study work visa na, for example, 1 year sa student visa plus another 1 year sa post-study work visa, that's already equivalent to 2 years. So, ibig sabihin, mamimit na nila yung eligibility requirement ng New Zealand government for them to be entitled to the subsidized public health system. And ang maganda dito, under the subsidized healthcare system, yung public hospital and specialist services, as well as most medicines are free. No? And Aina, sa totoo lang, oo, tama, isa yan sa pinaka-important benefit sa akin, no, personally, of living in New Zealand. Because I have peace of mind, knowing that I have easy access to free healthcare services. Ibig sabihin, pag nagkasakit ako, I can focus on getting better. Instead of thinking, instead of thinking, how will I pay or how will my family pay for my medical bills after recovery?
Totoo yan. Good point, no, Lorna. Good point and good story, no. And I think ito din yung hinahanap ng lahat kasi ang mahal magpa-hospital, you know. Marami tayong mga naririnig na horror stories na nagkaroon ng sakit. I experienced that, hindi sa akin, no, pero sa mga kakilala ko. And mahal talaga ang bills ng hospital bills sa Philippines. No? I have a friend na actually hindi, yung friend kakilala namin, no? And then yung father niya na ICU, no? And umabot ng 4 million pesos yung kanilang bills. So, ang hirap nun, lalo na pag hindi ka ready. Ang hirap-hirap nun, guys. So, I hope you guys are excited about this benefit. Malaki bang bagay sa inyo na masama yung family nyo dito sa New Zealand, tapos ma-extend pa yung visa nyo. Nag-aaral lang nga kayo, nasama nyo yung family nyo, Tapos, may libre pang education, tapos meron pang extension visa na tinatawag na post-study work visa. Hindi lang yon, entitled ka pa sa healthcare benefits. Importante ba ito sa inyo? No, type in yes. I wanna know. I wanna know if you're interested to experience this. Wow. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, yes, yes. Yes na yes. Sabi ni William Reyes. Yes na yes. Opo. Sabi ni Janeline. Of course. Sabi ni Alexandra. Alright. That's good. You know what, guys? The study pathway, alam nyo naman, led me to my ultimate goal. I should say that my journey, again, my journey has not been that easy, okay? But if you ask me, kung worth it ba mag-aral sa New Zealand, worth it ba ang ininvest kong effort, money, time, lahat, lahat na, worth it ba? Worth it ba lahat? I will answer you straight na yes, definitely worth it. Okay? Studying to New Zealand gave me a big window to get a skilled job offer at hindi ako magiging successful kung hindi ko ginawa. Hindi ako magiging successful kung hindi ko ginawa at hindi ko sinunod yung 5-step process. So I want to ask you a question. Sino po ba dito ang katulad ko na walang in-demand work experience, walang managerial experience? Kayo ba ay excited? Dahil nalaman nyo na kayo ay may chance kahit na hindi kayo engineer, IT, nurse. Kung kayo ay engineer, IT, or nurse, well, dapat lalo kayong mas lalo kayong makinig dito sa webinar dahil mas may edge kayo sa akin eh. Pero nagawa ko nga guys eh, kahit na hindi ako nagkaroon ng highly skilled experience, no? Sino po ba dito? Okay, let me just go ahead and read. Yes! Yes! Yan, sabi ni Rufina, yes po. Annalyn, Jasmine, Alexandra, Rain, Annalyn. Okay, great. Now, let us share with you, the 5-step process na aking sinundan para makuha ko yung New Zealand residency. Okay, so if you will do this right, again, if you will follow the 5-step process, then you may also have a chance to get the same result. Okay, are you guys ready? Do you want to know the 5-step process? I want to see yes sa chat box. Go ahead, type in yes if you are ready. If you're ready to listen, it's time to get a pen and paper, write down all the things that we're gonna say, because I'm gonna let Lorna and Glyza also discuss the 5-step process. Go ahead, type in yes if you're ready. Wow, ang lupit ng yes na isa. Wow, yes, with a lot of S. Okay, great. Billy, KG, Jefferson, Rain, Jane, Jareem. Wow, okay, I'm so excited na po, sabi ni Christina. Great, I'm also excited, guys, okay? Because I don't think any other agency can really explain this to you in details. No other agency, and this is the reason why we're doing this, okay? This is the reason why we're having this kind of webinars, because we want to educate everyone. We want you to get value out of this. We don't want you guys to waste your time. So go ahead and make sure you have your pen and paper with you. Write down all of the things that we're going to share, because this is something new. Okay, this is really something new. Okay, everyone is excited. Absolutely, yes. All right, let us go ahead and share with you the first step. First step is, of course, it's about checking if you're eligible to be a student. All right, that's the first step. You need to check if you're eligible to be a student in New Zealand. Why is this important? Bakit napaka-importante? Okay, this is important, very important, because by doing the assessment, I will know, or you will know, which course is best for your profile. All right, you will get a chance to plan ahead. This actually answered my question. Ano nga aralin ko? Saan ako titira sa New Zealand? Anong school ko sa New Zealand? No? Maganda ba yung school na mapipili ko? How long will I study? Magkano ba ang tuition fee? Magkano ang kailangan kong i-invest? Anong passing score ng required ng English test? And for those who are married or has partner, this is a great step to first know which program allows you to bring your family. Tama? Di ba gusto nyo rin makasama ang family nyo? Marami nag-yes kanina. And this is why it is important to first have an assessment and check your eligibility. Alright? Now, para mas malinaw sa inyo ang level of qualification na pwede mong pagpilian sa New Zealand kasi iba ang structure dito, no, compared to the Philippines, I will call on close Liza to explain this. Liza?
Yes, Ains, thank you. Sure, short and sweet lang to, no? Here in New Zealand, yeah, we call this the New Zealand qualification framework, no? Tertiary framework. As you can see, it goes via level. Diba?
Yes.
So, yung level 4 and 6, basically this refers sa certificate and diploma, level 7, 8, and 9, no? So, yung 4 and 6, usually, it's a 1 or 2 years duration to, no, ng program. Tapos sa 7 and 8, 1 year, while level 9 is 1.5 years. But as you can see, all this program, alright, will lead you or will basically allow you, no, to have a work rights habang nag-aaral, which is 20 hours per week, or full-time naman during scheduled break or holidays. Ayns plus na lang, no, para mas makarelate sila.
Yes.
Sa Pilipinas, no, since most of our viewers are from the Philippines, no, the completed bachelor's degree, no, na nagay natin sa Pilipinas, that's comparable, no, for almost lahat ng bachelor's degree, comparable siya sa level 7 dito sa New Zealand. That's right.
All right, thank you for that, Liza. You know what? This is what I did. Ito yung unang-una kong ginawa. Ito yung una kong ginawa para malaman ko talaga lahat. And you know what? As a matter of fact, no, this is what Luz did. Right? I'll show you. Luz was able to know what study. Luz is one of our clients. Okay? Luz was able to know what to study, which course to take, because she first took the eligibility assessment. So, binigay muna namin yun sa kanya. Okay? And nalaman niya na yes, alam niya na lahat. She was able to plan out her journey to New Zealand perfectly. Right? Okay, I'll share an information, an important information, guys. There are actually 3 common mistakes na ginagawa ng mga international students dito sa New Zealand. And I'm gonna share this with you, okay? Sabi ko naman sa'yo, we're gonna overly give you a valuable information. And since we are based here in New Zealand, marami talaga din ang nagkakamali ng mga estudyante dito sa New Zealand, no? Unfortunately, no? So I'm gonna share with you the 3 common mistakes. All right, you're very lucky because we're discussing this and we're actually educating you with this. All right, so these are the 3 common mistakes. First, choosing qualification has no relevance. Again, has no relevance to students' profile and residency application, meaning hindi align ang kanilang chosen course sa kanilang profile. And this is really happening, guys. Unfortunately, maraming nakakuha ng ganitong advice from other agencies. And it turns out, mali pala, hindi align ang kanilang profile sa chosen, hindi align yung profile nila, no, sa pinili nilang course, no. So, nung pumunta sila dito sa New Zealand, of course, parang nawala. Is that correct, Lorna? I'm sure marami kang naririnig na maganyang horror stories.
Yes, Aina, tama yan, no? Talagang may mga sad stories dito sa New Zealand, no? Lalo na dati nung uso pa yung mga low-level courses kasi syempre, yun naman talaga ang pinaka-affordable ang tuition fee. So, mga healthcare professionals, pinag-aaral dito ng low-level na business course, no? For example, medical technologists sa Philippines and sa Middle East. Tapos, mag-i-enroll dito in a diploma level 5 business course. So, anong nangyayari sa kanila? After ng study nila, dahil low-level course before, 1 year lang din ng post-study work visa, hindi sila nakakahanap, no, ng relevant work dahil hindi naman sila registered medtech dito sa New Zealand. So, ayun, hanggang naubos na lang din ang post-study work visa nila. So, gusto ko lang din talagang i-highlight, Aina, no, na it's essential to get the right advice from the start pa lang ng inyong journey.
Yes. Tama yan, Lorna, and thank you for that. I have to agree. Kaya napaka-importante to get professional and proper advice, right? Second, chosen school is considered low category school, okay? Sa mga nanonood sa atin, tama po, no? Merong high, merong pong low category schools, no? We highly suggest you only work with schools who have high grading. Alright? This is crucial, guys. It's very simple, yes, of course, no? Pero napaka-crucial nito. Dahil pag napunta ka or pag na-enroll ka sa low category school, there's a high chance na magsara yung school mo. Okay, very strict kasi dito sa New Zealand. Am I correct, Lorna? Very strict ang NZQA. Alam mo yan, diba?
Oo naman, talagang minomonitor nila strictly yung mga schools. And kapag hindi na-meet ng isang school ang high standards na requirement ng NZQA, ipapasara talaga nila yung school. And unfortunately, meron din tayong mga kababayan na na-affect with the school closures previously.
Yep, that's true. This is happening, guys, and we're here to tell you the truth. That's why we are discussing this. No, wala tayong tinatago. Okay, third common mistakes. Well, okay, most of the time, mali yung inuuna ng mga applicant. Right? Akala nila, no, the first step is to take the English exam. Okay, which you don't know if you're allowed to take a higher qualification, and every program has a different English score requirement. Okay, plain and simple, English exam is not the first step. All right, now we know the first step. Let's proceed with the second important step, which is applying for student visa. Ito na yon, guys. Listen, I want your full attention on this, all right? I want your full attention. We will be providing you bits and pieces of the requirements of the student visa, guys. No other agencies will let you know what are the requirements, and I don't, diba? Wala naman talaga. So, we are really confident enough that wala talaga, no? So we are here to disclose it and to give everything, no holds bar. So are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Type in yes. Is your pen and paper ready? We're going to give you all the requirements that you need to know about student visa. Type in yes if you're ready. Okay, so of course, you will need a student visa to study in New Zealand, diba? So what are the requirements? There are actually two requirements. One is the school acceptance letter and the immigration New Zealand visa requirements. All right? Okay, so the first requirement is you need to be accepted of your chosen school. And I will let Liza discuss the other requirements. Liza?
Sure, Ains. Yeah. So since I work closely sa mga partner school natin na nandito sa New Zealand, so I think indeed I am the best person to share this to them. So ang basic requirement lang to have the school registration is copy ng passport nyo, original transcript of record, original diploma, CV, and of course the school application form. Sounds very straightforward, pero we have some tip I personally want to share with you para mas mapabilis yung assessment process ng application nyo sa school. Alright? Sige. So, Ayans, in order for them na mas mapabilis yung pagpa-process ng school ng school registration nila, basically they just need to ensure that their credential, alright, the name on it tallies dun sa passport nyo. And of course, in the event na hindi siya tally dahil sa marriage, we need to proactively provide the marriage certificate. Alright? Basically, that explains the parang change ng name. And also, yung mga documents na nabanggit ko earlier, you do not have to send that hard copy sa school. Okay? Hindi nyo kailangan isend yan dito sa New Zealand. All you need to do is actually prepare a clear and well-scanned copy of your documents if possible. Hindi pala if possible. Talagang dapat yung whole page yung capture. Alright? Kasi, soft copy lang yung kailangan natin. And if, of course, if you guys can provide authenticated, notarized, or stamped certified true copy documents, definitely this will speed up everything. Yun lang, Ains. I hope na beneficial itong mga information sa kanila.
I mean, these are just simple requirements, diba? But sometimes you tend to neglect simple things. And this can actually cause big delays in your application. So we want to make it, of course, fast as much as possible. So eto na, guys, we're giving you the tips, all right? So thank you, Liza. And to our viewers, I hope your eyes and ears are all here. With us, all right? This is really important. It's really important to keep this. All right, so next part of the student visa requirements is the immigration New Zealand requirements. And Lorna, go ahead.
Sige, thanks, Ains. I hope our viewers are ready, no? Ito na yung medyo serious stuff pagdating, kasi visa application na yun na to.
Yes.
So what I will be discussing now are some of the essential Immigration New Zealand requirements for a student visa. Hindi po ito lahat, no? Pero these are some of the most important requirements that you will be submitting to INZ. No, so number one would be the medical requirement. All visa applicants need to have an acceptable standard of health. No, so yung medical requirement would depend on the type of visa they are applying for, as well as their length of intended stay in New Zealand. So for student visa applicants, ang most common requirement would be the chest X-ray. Okay, and then next, character requirement. So medyo similar to sa medical, no? All visa applicants are required to be of good character. Yung police certificate requirement will again depend on the type of visa they are applying for, as well as their length of intended stay in New Zealand. So, napaka-importanting aspect ito ng visa application, no? Because New Zealand wants to ensure that the visa applicant will not pose a danger to public safety and hindi sila magva-violate ng New Zealand laws during their stay in the country. Okay? Tama. And then, fair enough, di ba? Siyempre, kailangan good character naman yung mga migrants sa papapasukin sa bansa. And then, third one would be the Immigration New Zealand forms. So, iba-iba din ang forms na i-fill out ng isang visa applicant depending on the visa type that they are applying for. So kung student visa ang a-applyan, meron silang i-fill out na student visa application form, and kung meron naman silang financial guarantor or sponsor who will present evidence of funds on their behalf, meron din ibang forms, no, na kailangan i-fill out ang mga sponsors and guarantors. Ang importante lang is, tama syempre yung form na gagamitin nila, and tama din and truthful yung information na i-declare nila sa mga forms na isasubmit sa INZ para hindi ibabalik ito sa kanila, or worse, baka nga ma-decline pa ang visa application nila. Okay? Syempre. Okay? So, yun lang muna, Aina.
Okay, I think, Lorna, binabasa ko kasi yung ating chat box. I think meron kasi silang nakikita dito na napaka-importante. Ito na yung next topic natin. Diba? Yan ang big question actually. You know, the big question is, how much should I invest in this process? No? As you all know, kaming tatlo, nag-invest kami sa aming pag-aaral. And para sa akin, it is really worth trying. Okay? And of course, kasama nito, as an international student, you will have to pay for your tuition fee, right? And you have to prove that you can support yourself, right? So let us go ahead and discuss how much do I need to prepare. All right, so for international student, the tuition fee is in the range of, I'll give you an example, all right? The minimum, or meron pang mas mababa dito, but it is in the range of 15,000 New Zealand dollars. You know, that's for 1 year. Normally, 1 year lang naman din ang pag-aaral. No? Like katulad ko, I invested like around 15,600, diba hindi ko pa nakalimutan, $650,000. You know, ito yung pag kunwari mag-aaral ka sa diploma in business, ayan. And it can go high, up to 31,000 New Zealand dollars. Meron pang mas mababa dyan, but I want to give you the higher that you can enroll, no? Meron pang mas mataas pa dyan, ano? And that's for masters, let's say, for marketing. Okay? Now, the question is, do I need to have the tuition fee or this amount ready before I get started? Okay? Well, the answer is not necessarily. Right? For those who does not have the funds like this, for those who doesn't have that funds ready, good news. Okay? Because you can still save up for the funds while you are still in the process of completing your document. So what's the message? You can go ahead and start, you know, and then if you have the means to really secure the funds in a sense na habang ikaw ay nagpa-process ng student visa, then that's good. Okay? I will ask Lorna to discuss further on this. Lorna, would you like to share anything?
Yes, Aina, no, definitely. So tama yung sinasabi mo na studying in New Zealand is really quite an investment. Ang reality is, not everyone has the full amount in their bank account. Parang ako, ito, sa totoo lang, no, nung nag-apply ako ng student visa, hindi naman talaga kumpleto pa yung funds sa bank account namin ng husband ko. Partial, partial, meron kaming savings, pero not enough to cover the whole tuition fee and evidence of funds. Kaya ang ginawa namin, kumuha pa kami ng financial guarantor who presented her evidence of funds on my behalf. No? And tama rin yung sinabi mo na hindi naman talaga kailangan readily available na yung funds kasi ang student visa processing naman takes between 6 to 12 months. So may time pa talaga silang mag-ipon, Ains.
Yes, 6 to 12 months. No, pwede. Alright. Okay, guys, I hope this is clear. Like what Lorna shared, gumamit siya ng sponsor and later on, no, pag-uusapan natin yan, Lorna. Okay? Now, Glyza, just to give our viewers an idea, how much is the tuition fee? Kasi for sure, most of our viewers here are may pamilya, no? Na may asawa, may anak. So how much is the tuition fee of a program na pwede nilang isama yung kanilang pamilya?
Sure, Ayn. So, indeed, there are only programs basically that allows them, no, or allows the student to bring the family, basically the partner independence, and usually those are higher level program. Siguro, nagre-range ito, Ayn, no, kung level 9 program, which is masteral, in peso, probably 1 million. No, to 1.2 million. This is actually a 1.5 years program, kaya talagang it appears higher. No, around that amount. Then, but of course, it also depends din minsan. Nagba-vary din siya dahil sa field of study, no, or doon sa mismong school. But nonetheless, on average, nandun siya 1 million to 1.2 million.
Alright. Again, kung hindi readily yung funds, pwede naman nila tong ipunan, no? From 6 months and while processing the visa application. Ngayon, kasi alam ko meron tayong mga client na hindi naman pinipili yung ganyang klaseng course, no? Hindi masters yung pinipili nila dahil kasi malaki naman talaga, no, yung 1 million. So, meron tayong mga client na ang pinipili nila ay nasa 13,000 New Zealand dollars na tuition fee or nasa mga 15,000 New Zealand dollars. May nagtatanong how much ba ito in peso? Magkano ba yun?
Siguro ayun sa mga nasa yan, mga 500, no?
Yes,
mga ganyan.
30,000
Oo, to 600, ganyan.
So, ang tanong, kung may 500,000 pesos lang ako, and then gusto kong isama yung nung asawa ko, pwede bang sumunod ang partner ko or ang asawa ko at ang mga anak ko? Lorna, would you like to comment?
Yes, Ains. Yung ginagawa ng ibang clients natin, no, dahil nga they don't have enough funds to pay for their tuition fees at a masteral level, ang ginagawa, nag-enroll na lang in a lower level program muna yung student na uuna dito sa New Zealand, no? And then kapag natapos na yung study at nakuha na niya yung post-study work visa niya, that's the time that the family will apply for their visas, tsaka sila susunod dito sa New Zealand, no? So, approximately after 1 year, ma-reunite na yung family nila in New Zealand, and actually, that's the more practical option, Aina.
True. No, yan din yung mga ibang sinasabi din ng mga clients natin na mga nauna dito, and then after a year, sumunod yung kanilang husband or wife, and then yung mga kanilang anak. No? Okay, thank you, Lorna and Glyza. Alright, so I hope this is clear, guys, okay? Meron din nagtatanong, kailan ba talaga ibabayad yung tuition fee? No? Lorna, would you like to comment? Kailan ba talaga ibabayad yung tuition fee? I mean, let's say, meron na silang funds, pero kailan mo ba ibabayad yung tuition fee?
Ang maganda sa New Zealand, no, kapag na-receive mo yung approval in principle ng iyong student visa application, that's the only time that you will be required to pay the full tuition fee. So kapag na-receive mo kasi yung approval in principle or AIP, parang formality na lang yung pagbabayad ng tuition fee. And when you're able to satisfy that requirement, i-release na ng INZ ang iyong student visa.
Alright, just to be clear, no, kasi I think medyo iba yung language ng approve in principle. In simple term, Lorna, ano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Or anong status ba ng visa mo nun?
Kasi previously, no, yung processing time ng student visa application takes mga 2 months.
Mhm.
No, pag sinubmit or nilodge yung student visa application, ipoprocess ni immigration officer yan, i-check kung nasa-satisfy mo lahat ng requirements for a student visa. And kapag nasatisfy ang immigration officer sa requirements na sinubmit mo, including the financial requirements, magre-release na siya ng approval in principle. So parang your student visa application is as good as approved pending the payment of your tuition fee. So I'm not sure, Aina, if napaliwanag ko na, yun na yung layman's term na kaya ko.
I think simple like somehow it is approved, no, but with condition, and the condition is you need to pay the tuition fee para makuha mo talaga yung visa. Alright? Okay. Si Lorna kasi very technical dahil kay licensed immigration advisor. Pero alam mo, nung nakita ko kasi yung AIP ko o yung approved in principle ko na status kasi nung nag-apply ako ng yun yung naisip ko na, okay, it's somehow approved. And that's the time that I will pay for the tuition fee, which is actually, para sa akin, low risk siya. You know, it's a low risk investment kasi doon mo palang ilalabas yung pera mo pag meron ka ng somehow approved visa, no? And the only condition is you need to pay the tuition fee. At diretso mo to ibabayad sa school. Alright? Okay. Alright. So, thank you, Lorna, for that. Alright. So, let's go ahead and discuss. Let's talk about the living expenses. Alright. So, aside from the tuition fee, you also need to prepare for your living expenses. So, while on student visa, even though that you can work while studying, Immigration New Zealand requires you to show a proof that you can support yourself. Alright? So, merong amount na require ang Immigration New Zealand around 15,000 New Zealand dollars. Okay? Lorna, would you like to share?
Yes, Aina. Ano ba yan? Sasagutin ko yung question number 1?
Yes. Tama ba yan? Yes, go ahead. No? I think yan ang din ang iniisip nila, no? Kung magpapakita sila ng show money for their living expenses, required ba sila to use these funds? Itong 15,000 New Zealand dollars, required ba sila na gamitin itong funds na to while studying in New Zealand or while staying in New Zealand?
Ang sagot dyan is not necessarily, no? Especially if you utilize your part-time work rights during your study. So, hindi mo kailangan gamitin ang baon mong $15,000 na evidence of funds. Parang lumalabas, pang emergency funds mo lang yan. We actually have a client, Aina, no, na nag-inquire sa atin kasi natapos na niya yung study niya and mag-a-apply na siya ng post-study work visa. So, nakwento niya, hindi niya nagalaw yung $15,000 na evidence of funds niya kasi nga, he was working while studying. So, kumikita siya So, ang maganda nun, yung $15,000 na evidence of funds niya for his student visa, magagamit niya ngayon yon for his future visa applications.
Totoo yan. I can relate, Lorna, kasi ako mismo, hindi ko rin nagamit or nagamit yung 15,000 New Zealand dollars na living expenses na pinakita namin, no? Dahil nagtrabaho talaga kami para hindi namin to magamit, no? Nagtrabaho. And we're really lucky na after I think a month, nakakuha ng job yung asawa ko, no? And then ako din, no? Nakakuha na ako ng trabaho agad. So, walang way for us. Tama yung sinabi mo, emergency funds lang talaga to. Okay? Remember, you guys are allowed to work here, so use that privilege. Alright? Now, next, sinabi mo kanina, no, na pwedeng mag-sponsor. So, accepted, possible naman pala yun, Lorna, na pwede naman pala silang gumamit ng sponsorship.
Yes, Aina, no? Possible yun. And kung ang tanong is, yung sponsor ba ay required to show proof of funds? The answer to that would be yes. No? As the financial guarantor or sponsor, they must be able to show that they have genuine and stable funds to support the student visa applicant during their study in New Zealand. no? So ano ba yung mga examples ng financial documents na kailangan i-present ni sponsor? Kasama na dyan yung bank statements, yung sources of funds. So kailangan ipakita syempre saan ang gagaling yung malaking funds sa bank account ng sponsor, di ba? And kailangan din i-establish yung relationship ni financial guarantor or sponsor doon sa visa applicant. Pero ang gusto kong i-emphasize ay yung evidence of funds must be stable, genuine, and readily verifiable.
Yes, that's good. Thank you, Lorna. No, I just want to read Bianca's question. Para lang po ba ito sa may pamilya or asawa? Di po ba pwede mag-apply ang mga single? Pwede, Bianca. Kung mas single ka, edi mas madali para sa'yo, di ba? Kasi pag nandito ka sa New Zealand, ang iisipin mo lang ay sarili mo. Di ba?
I would agree.
Mas straightforward yung requirement niya. Walang considerations, no?
Yes. So guys, sa mga nagme-message, po kasi kami sa New Zealand ng may mga asawa, okay? Hindi po, na kami ay nagkukwento lang about our family life, ay hindi na pwede ang mga single. So yes, pwede po, no, ang mga single dito. Alright. Okay, again, thank you, Lorna, no? Guys, I just want to share a story of one of our clients. No? Her name is Apple. Okay? And she's from the Philippines. At first, she does not have enough funds to support her student application. Again, repeat ko, no? Nung una pa lang initially, she does not have enough funds to support her student application. So, she was able to save half of it, no? Partial, nung required funds sa tuition fee niya and then sa living expenses, no? Half na save niya. And half was under the sponsorship application. Yung sinasabi ni Lorna na pwede naman ng sponsor, okay? Now, when she finished her program, she managed to bring her husband. Tama ba ako, Glyza? Ikaw ang sumundo ba kay Apple o tayo?
Yes, ako, Ains. Oo, ako ang sumundo kay Apple. So, yes, tama, Ains. Apple actually, even though she's married, she opt no, to go here in New Zealand nang nauna. And basically, she took just a 1-year program. No? Tapos after completing the program, ayan, kasama niya na yung husband niya. Ang bilis lang ng isang taon.
Yes. Oo, totoo yan. Nakakatuwa na masayang-masaya na sila, no? And she managed to bring her husband. Tapos yan, nandito na sila sa New Zealand. And yung husband niya ay may partnership work visa. Ang saya, di ba? Yep. Yan. Okay, so Apple is now working as a store manager in one of the globally known fast food chains here in Auckland, New Zealand. And she is now working on completing the required points for the residency. So, from being an admin specialist, doon sa Philippines kasi, nung nasa Pilipinas siya, she was an admin specialist and she's now a store manager. That's awesome, right? Okay, all right. Thank you, Glyza. Okay, now we have provided you with the required documents needed. Okay, guys? We have provided you with the required documents, tips, diba? Nagbigay na tayo, needed for your student visa. It's now time to share with you our top secrets. Sabi ko naman sa'yo, hindi namin ito, we will not end this webinar, will not end this webinar without even giving you, this kind of tips and top secrets. So we will share with you our top secrets to totally avoid visa decline. So are you guys ready? Type yes. Type yes if you're ready. Again, I don't think any agency in this time will share this with you. You're lucky. We have Lorna here. She will share her top secrets. Go ahead, type in yes. Are you guys ready? Are you still with us? Yes. All right, great. Wow, you guys are still with us. That's good. Okay. All right, so let me call in Lorna to share with us our first tip to avoid visa decline. Lorna, bagong lahat, ready na ba tayo? I-share yung mga secrets mo?
Dalawang isip.
Di pa nagdadalawang isip ka?
Oo naman, syempre, no. I'd be happy to share these secrets, no, with our audience. Kasi whether magpa-process sila through Visa Premier or they decide to do their applications on their own, gusto lang talaga natin din makatulong, no, sa kanila. That's why we are sharing this information with them. Oo. Okay, sige. So, number 1, statement of purpose. No? Yung statement of purpose kasi or SOP, yan ang nagsaserve as an applicant's cover letter sa Immigration New Zealand, no? So, it's vital for a visa applicant to establish in that cover letter or SOP ang genuine intentions niya of coming to New Zealand, tapos how his study will benefit him, as well as his strong incentives to his home country. No? So ano ba yung mga common reasons for visa decline? So number one, yung applicant ay hindi masyadong familiar sa mga subjects or papers na included sa kanyang program of study. So kapag in-interview ng immigration officer, biglang hindi makasagot, hindi niya alam ano ba yung mga subjects na kasama doon sa program, ayan, pwedeng maging cause ng visa decline yan. No? Number two, unable to provide the relevance of his chosen program sa kanyang background or career goals and future plans. So, pag hindi makasagot din si applicant kung ano yung mga balak niyang gawin after his study or how his study will help him achieve his future goals or plans, ayan, medyo red flag na kay Immigration New Zealand yan. Okay, and third, unable to provide clear plans upon completion of his or her study program. Related yan sa na-discuss ko kanina. Siyempre, dapat, kung mag-aaral ka dito because it's a substantial investment, dapat naman talaga may mga plano ka din after your study. No? And lastly, unable to establish strong ties to their home country. So, kailangan din ma-establish ni visa applicant sa kanyang SOP na marami rin siyang strong incentives na babalikan sa home country niya, kagaya ng bank accounts, mga financial investments, kagaya ng insurance, stocks, mga real estate assets. Yan yung mga some of the ties to his or her home country.
Alright, next.
So next, medical requirement. So kagaya nung nabanggit ko kanina, lahat ng visa applicants are required to meet the acceptable standard of health. So ano ba yung nagiging reasons for decline? Syempre, pag hindi niya na-meet yung acceptable standard of health, meron kasing mga medical conditions dito sa New Zealand that the country considers na makaka-impose ng significant costs on New Zealand's healthcare system. No? So, syempre naman, kung tatanggap si New Zealand ng migrant, yung pipiliin na niya yung mga applicants who are of good health. No? Ano ba yung mga serious medical conditions na yan? HIV, mga malignancies, and
critical illness.
Oo, tama. Mahaba ang listahan ni Immigration New Zealand ng mga critical illnesses na yan. Pero based experience natin, parang wala naman tayong client pa na nade-decline based on medical grounds.
Yes, wala. No, very healthy sila. Very healthy sila. Kasi sinabi natin, di ba, kailangan maging healthy.
Tama. Pero although meron din naman tayong mga clients na nade-delay lang ng konti, yung kanilang visa application because Immigration New Zealand required them to provide additional medical tests and or specialist reports bago sila mabigyan ng visa because meron silang certain medical conditions na kailangan lang i-rule out ni INZ.
Yes. Alright, next.
Next, character requirement. Ayan, na-discuss na rin natin kanina yan. Siyempre, all applicants are required to be of good character, no? So, sino ba yung mga... Oo, definitely, lalo sa New Zealand. Kasi maliit na bansa, di ba? Tapos usually trust basis dito. So, meron mga serious character issues kasi na kapag meron ka niyan, mahihirapan ka talagang makakuha ng visa sa New Zealand, kahit anong klaseng visa. Ano ba yung examples ng serious character issues na yan? Kung meron kang history of imprisonment, lalo na kapag 1 year or more, kapag meron kang ongoing criminal cases, or meron kang record of deportation, ayan, may special and complicated process pang pagdadaanan para mabigyan ka ng visa. Second, meron namang lesser character issues na magre-require pa din ng additional step bago ka mabigyan ng New Zealand visa. So examples ng mga lesser character issues na yan are yung mga may visa condition breaches, yung merong history of imprisonment pero less than 1 year.
Yeah.
Oo, yun. And ito pa pala ay napaka-importante ng pagiging truthful ng isang visa applicant sa kanyang application. no, yung non-declaration or withholding of information are considered character issues sa New Zealand. So kapag na-uncover yan ng Immigration New Zealand, even after ma-approve pa ang inyong visa application, it can lead to serious consequences. So yun lang.
Dapat talaga, umpisa pa lang, no? Kumbaga, maging transparent.
Tama, totoo yan.
Tama. Alright.
So yung fourth, financial requirement. Naku, ito interesting topic, no?
Oo.
Dahil based sa experience natin, ang dami na nating na-encounter, no, ng mga clients, iba-iba ang financial situation. Pero isa-summarize na lang natin, ano ba yung usual reasons for visa decline, no, based on financial requirement? Number one, unstable or fluctuating yung evidence of funds. Believe it or not, ngayon, tinitingnan na rin ng Immigration New Zealand yung daily ending balance ng isang bank account.
Yan ang hindi nila alam.
Tama.
Hindi alam yan.
Kasi medyo bago lang yan eh. This year lang din talaga naghigpit si INZ. So, pag sinabing unstable or fluctuating, example, ang beginning balance mo is 200,000 pesos. Biglang after a week, babagsak to 50,000. And then after a few days, tataas to 150,000.
Shopping daw, Lawrence eh. Nag-shopping.
150,000 worth yung pinang-shopping. Grabe naman. So yun, pag fluctuating, medyo red flag na rin sa INZ yan.
I think as long as ma-explain nila. Tama ba ako?
Iba pa yan. Yan yung, oo.
Sige, hindi na ako magko-comment.
Number 3 yan eh. So sige, number 2 muna tayo. Next, unverifiable yung source of funds. No, ibig sabihin, may malaking ang deposit, may malaking ang pondo sa bank account. Let's say you have 1 million pesos in your bank account. Pero hindi mo naman maipaliwanag or wala kang paper trail or documentation kung saan mo kinuha yung 1 million pesos in your account. Ayan, may big no-no din yan. Yun pala, nanggaling sa utang, inutang sa kamag-anak, inutang sa kaibigan, kaya walang paper trail. So, hindi natin pwedeng i-present yan sa Immigration New Zealand.
Okay.
And yung last, no, yan yung sinabi mo kanina, unexplained large deposits. No? So, pwede naman kasi na merong mga large deposits na pumapasok sa account kung legitimate ang source. So, kunyari, nagbenta ng kotse, nagbenta ng real estate property, nagbigay ng donation yung magulang in support of the visa application, yan, posible naman. We can use that and present that to Immigration New Zealand as long as you will be able to present supporting documents. So again, let me highlight, no, that it's essential to establish na genuine and verifiable ang source of funds ng isang applicant because INZ is strictly adhering to the Anti-Money Laundering Act.
Totoo. Wow, Lorna, thank you for giving us some valuable tips. I know this is something new to them, and for sure, these tips are not available online. You know, bago din yung mga ibang sinabi mo, Lorna, bago din sa pandinig ko eh, no? So, to our viewers, do you realize how important this is? This information from Lorna can really save up so much time and money. Totoo yan. A lot of people who submitted their application not knowing na may mga ganitong klaseng situation, I hope you get value out of this. So I want to see your response, guys. Are you learning? Are you learning, guys? Type in yes. Type in yes if you're learning. I want to see a lot of yeses here. I just want to check, if we're doing okay here on our end, if we're giving so much value, let us know. We want your feedback, guys. Type in yes if you're learning. If you're learning, okay, a lot of yeses. All right, so let us proceed. Wow, umulan bigla ng yes. Biglang, boom, yes! Okay, wow. Yan, yung mga yes na ay para sa'yo, Lorna. Thank you daw, Lorna. Yan, alright. Thank you. Ang dami nag-yes. Akala ko wala no? Biglang isang buhos na napakaraming yes. So, thank you, guys. Alright, let's proceed now to the next step. Of course, napakasimple lang ito, pero ang bigat ng, hindi naman mabigat. Pero napaka-importante nito. This plays a huge importance no dito sa ating 5-step process, which is the qualification or earn your New Zealand qualification. And I'm gonna call in Glyza to further give us some tips on how can we secure, because this step actually is connected to our step 4 and 5. Alright, guys, this is actually connected. Hindi mo makukuha yung step 4 and also, di mo makukuha din yung chance nyo to get to the step 5 kung hindi mo nagawa yung step 3. Alright? So, Glyza, fire away.
Sure, yes, so actually for step 3, no, which is earning a New Zealand qualification, actually this is very straightforward. All right, as you can see, you just need to be enrolled in an approved education provider, no, study the 30 weeks duration of program, and of course meet the attendance requirement. All right, pero ang pinakahigit sa lahat dito para ma-earn mo yung New Zealand qualification is of course kailangan po maipasa natin, no, yung oo, maipasa po natin yung mismong program, alright? So, ang passing grade, okay, for you to be parang makapasa is yan, 75%. Very similar sa Pilipinas IELTS.
Yeah. I think this is very straight and simple. Just just complete the program. Okay,
True.
para makatawid ka sa step 4 and step 5. But I think the main question or the first question kasi is mahirap bang mag-aral sa New Zealand? You know? So Ice, para sa'yo, mahirap ba since nag-aral ka mahirap bang mag-aral sa New Zealand?
Okay, sige ay, sasagutin natin yan ng totoong-totoo. Oo, sige. Sa tingin ko, it's not about mahirap. Okay? When you study here in New Zealand, ang feel kong mararamdaman nyo is yung adjustment, no? Lalo na sa simula. I think most of us, no, bata pa naman tayo, pero still, di ba, parang ang tagal mo ng graduate ka na, tapos ka na nag-work ka na, no? So parang babalik ako ulit, yung thought na lang na yun, no? Babalik ako ulit sa school. So parang mawawala ka na naman dun sa comfort zone mo. And I think that's where the adjustment starts, no? Oo, so may assignment ka ulit, no? And I think that will make you start to, yun nga, na parang, ay, ang hirap ata nito. Pero hindi, no? Adjustment lang yun. Basically, it's just a phase, no? Nung student visa mo. And yun nga, once you actually parang get used to it, madali na lang siya. No?
There's an adjustment process, guys. Hindi namin sinasabing madali right away, you know. Ang maganda nito, all of us 3 experience studying in New Zealand, and hindi talaga ganun na sinasabi na sinasabing madali, okay? May adjustment period talaga, no? Especially, I think you will agree, Glyza, because ang gagawin mo is magtatrabaho ka, at the same time mag-aaral ka diba? So, pag bagal mo yung oras every day na meron kasing, okay, I'll ask you this, no? Kasi meron din nagtatanong, ilang oras ba ang kailangan nilang mag-take sa school? I mean, ano ba yung mga schedule ng mga schools, no? Kung sila ay mag-aaral dito sa New Zealand?
Sige, it's actually may nakita rin akong similar question, no, earlier about that, na parang hindi ba mahirap na pagsabayin yung pagtatrabaho and at the same time yung pag-aaral, no? So, I think we're, very much aware, no, that holding a student visa, you are allowed to work 20 hours per week. Pero yun nga, kaya ba ng schedule, di ba? Bilang estudyante din ako. Kasi as an international student, yun nga ang good news, no? You are only required lang naman to report sa school 20 hours lang din. No? So, ibig sabihin, may mga araw, though of course, depende sa schedule mo mismo, no? May mga schedule minsan na 3 to 4 days a week lang, no? Meron din mga weekend, no? So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi ka talaga yung parang tayo nung college na parang lahat ng oras mo, Monday to Friday, nasa school ka, pa-part-time ka pa ba? Kaya mo pa ba? Ang hirap nun. Pero dito hindi. Kayang-kayang juggle. That's right.
I think malaking part is because of it has a good environment. You know, walang traffic, walang stress. You know, so you can really focus on studying and at the same time working onto your dreams, diba? Yan yun. So, ganun din yung experience ko, no? Hindi madali. Kung tatanungin ako, mahirap ba mag-aral sa New Zealand? Hindi madali, hindi rin mahirap. Okay? I suggest that you really have to put your heart sa ginagawa mo. Kaya nga una pa lang sinabi na namin sa inyo doon sa unang mga presentation namin sa unang slide na you really have to be committed if you're going to follow this 5-step process. No, tama ba ako, Glyza?
Yes.
Commitment yan. It really boils down to your determination eh. Diba?
Totoo.
At alam mo, Glyza, yan yung ginawa. No? Isa sa mga clients natin dito sa Visa Premier. Everyone adores her. Alam mo naman, kilala mo to. This is Leia. She is a Filipino and back in the Philippines, she was a marketing specialist in one of the biggest bank. No? Because she was a good student. No? Very active talaga si Leia sa school niya. And she also followed the requirements ng Step 3, which is of course earning a degree in New Zealand. At dahil dito sa Step 3 na to, she became eligible to apply for post-study work visa. No? Nagkaroon siya ng extended visa. And now, she's enjoying her life in New Zealand. And alam mo guys, kasama niya na ngayon yung buong pamilya niya at 2 anak. Ang cute ng anak nila, actually. No, nakita mo na ba yung anak nila, Glyza?
Sa picture. Kasi outside Auckland kasi sila nakabase.
Yes, oo. Pero yun nga, sumunod yung family ni Leia. So, Leia, correct me if I'm wrong, no, Glyza? Leia studied here for 1 year and then after a year, sumama na or sumunod yung kanyang family. Tama ba ako?
That's right.
Yes, go ahead.
Ay, sorry ha. Oo, kasi parang para lang siguro mas ma-visualize ng mga natin, ng mga viewers natin. Kasi katulad ni Leia, katulad ni Apple, no, isa lang 'di ba yung nag-aral, pero once they complete the program, actually pareho sila, no, na meron yung post-study work visa.
Oo, yes, that's correct, no?
Oo.
Okay. Alam mo, speaking of skill job offer, no, sa kanya it was simple for her to work on her points now because meron na siyang job offer, no? Because she was really able to get a job offer. At ito naman yung next topic natin, no? Which is step 4 to get a skilled job offer in New Zealand. And this is now what we are going to discuss, the step 4. Ayan, ito na yung pinaka-importante din sa lahat. Step 4, skill job offer. Get a skill job offer in New Zealand under the post-study work visa. Okay, so ito yung ginawa ko eh. This is what I did and ganun din, no? Si Lorna and si Glyza, nung meron na kaming post-study work visa, at dito na namin kumbaga ginawa lahat, no, para makakuha ng skilled job, no? And it is extremely important that you understand the requirements yourself and set your goals right from the start, no? Dahil yun din yung ginawa namin umpisa pa lang. So when I got my post-study work visa, I used this time wisely to search for the right employer and yung skilled job, no, para matawid ko yon sa next step, no, step 5, which is later on. I will go ahead and Lorna will go ahead and discuss that, no. So for you to understand what is a skilled job, sabi sa INZ website, you must have specialist, technical, or management. You must have specialist technical management expertise and meet the pay rate threshold to do skilled work in New Zealand. So I will let Lorna explain this. Or Lorna, can you give us an example? Kasi para lang din ma-clear, no? Normally kasi ang akala nila pagka skilled job kailangan manager, no? Kailangan may hawak kang tao o kailangan din engineer o yung mga kakaibang trabaho, yun ang akala nila eh. But can you give us a sample job title? Ano ba yung mga skilled na hindi managerial position?
Yes, actually common misconception yan, no? Because most people think na you need to be a manager to apply for residency in New Zealand, which is not really the case, no? Let me again highlight, no, yung sinabi mo, that as long as you have a skilled job offer, hindi kailangan ng managerial position. So, dapat lang ma-establish mo na meron kang specialist, technical, or management expertise, no, na reflected in your job description. So, it's more, yung job description mo is more important than your job title. No? So, pero of course, you also have to meet the salary threshold for skilled employment in New Zealand. And that is based on the median wage which increases almost on a yearly basis. So kagaya ako, yung job title ko and job description that paved the way for my successful residence visa application was program administrator. So hindi manager yun.
Yes, hindi.
Oo. And yet, my residence application was approved. No? So ano pa ba yung mga ibang examples ng skilled roles na hindi manager? So, pwede personal or executive assistant. O, di ba?
Yun, hindi nila alam yun. Yung personal assistant, skilled po yun.
Tama.
Yes,
mga IT professionals natin dyan, ICT tech support roles are considered skilled.
Yes. Diba? Marami yan. Marami. Sa call center, yung mga tech support. Tama ba ako, Lawrence?
Tama, Ains. Yung mga engineers natin dyan, kapag nakakuha kayo ng job offer as engineering technician, that's also considered skilled. And lalayo pa ba tayo? Marketing specialist. Yung naging pathway mo, di ba?
Yes, oo nga. Yan yung pathway ko. Hindi yan managerial.
Tama. And may good news po pala ako, Ains.
Oh, yes.
No? So, early this year, nagkaroon ng changes to immigration instructions, no? Which is favorable to some of our clients, no? Kasi, starting February 2020, may mga certain low-skilled positions na that may be considered mid or high-skilled as long as they are able to meet the skilled salary threshold. No? So, kagaya ng mga healthcare workers natin, no, para to sa kanila, pwede kang mag-apply as personal care assistant and that would lead to residence. No? Wow. So, hindi mo kailangan maging registered nurse in New Zealand for you to become a New Zealand resident.
Wow, akala kasi nila, diba, nurse lang, yun lang ang pwede. Pero at least that's a good news, no?
Tama. May mga clients tayo na ganyan si Christine, no, kanina yung pinakita mo, in process na yung residence application niya as a personal care assistant, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, tama, no? Wow, no. I hope this is clear to you all. No, thank you, Lorna, for that. No, I hope klaro to sa inyo. Alam mo, Lorna, marami na nagme-message dito ng mga iba't ibang job title nila sa Pilipinas, and they're asking about kung talagang kasama din sila sa skill or considered pa sila na skilled job, no? Okay, wow, ang dami, no? Well, anyway, thank you, Lorna, for clarifying that. And to connect with what Lorna just shared, no, we have a client, actually. Her name is Kenneth. She's born in the Philippines, but she she's based from Qatar when she moved to New Zealand. And she was a medical secretary for almost 6 years sa Qatar. Sino po ba yung mga nasa Qatar dito? Okay? So, she took up a 1 year, nag-aral siya dito ng 1 year sa New Zealand. And after 3 months, habang nag-aaral pa rin siya, she was able to get a skilled job offer, no? At yung position na yon ay being a healthcare assistant. She's now working on completing the required points for residency. Dahil sinabi nga ni Lorna, yung healthcare assistant is considered skilled. So, ngayon, masayang-masaya si Kenneth. Ready na siya, no, to file for residency after niyang matapos or after siyang makagraduate. Alright? So, good news ba ito sa ating mga viewers? Good news ba ito sa inyo? Meron po ba tayong mga medical secretary na nasa field ng healthcare assistant dyan? Or kahit na hindi nasa managerial experience, no, or PA? Kasi kanina parang may nakita ko na secretary daw. Considered skilled siya. Meron po ba dito? Type in yes. No? I want to see your answers. Dahil kung yes ang sinagot mo, kung ikaw ay medical secretary, kung ikaw ay nasa healthcare assistant, kung yes ang sinagot mo from what Lorna said, pasok ang iyong profile and considered na skilled ang iyong ginawa. So, good job for you. So, there. Okay, ang dami, no? Nag-yes din. Okay. Alright, pero marami din I think nagugulahan. Later, we will have a Q&A. Tama ba, Lorna? We will have a Q&A, so don't worry, guys. Stay until the very end, guys. Marami pa tayong i-discuss. Okay. Alright, alam mo, ito na yung pinakamagandang step sa lahat. Tama ba, Lorna? Ito na yun. Ito na yung pinakamagandang step. Ito na yung pag natanggap mo na talaga ito, nakakakilig. Ako kasi kinilig ako dito eh.
Ako naiyak ay. Pero tears of joy, ano ka?
I remember yung araw na yun.
Nanginginig.
Nanginginig, kinikilig, hindi mo maintindihan, naiiyak. Diba? Talagang Oh my God, I remember that feeling. So, eto
Ikaw
na yung,
yan eh.
Lorna, hindi iyak, hagulgol. Pati yung asawa ko hagulgol nung na-receive niya yung residency namin. Alright, so eto na yun, guys. We will share this with you after, ito nangyari sa akin, after receiving a full-time skill job offer and na-reach ko na yung required points for residency, 160 160 points, no? I immediately applied for my New Zealand residence visa. So ito na yun, guys. Nasa last step na tayo. Okay? So, nandito si Lorna para ma-discuss niya ano ba yung mga gagawin. Okay? Ano ba yung mga gagawin pagka nag-apply ng resident visa? Again, guys, I hope you're still listening with us. This is really important. Kung ano man yung ginagawa mo, hinto mo muna yan. Makinig ka muna kay Lorna because this is really important. Alright? She will discuss what to do and the steps, no, to get a resident visa. Alright? Go ahead, Lorna.
Sige, thanks Aina. Ito actually yung I'm sure most awaited part no ng ating webinar kasi lahat naman tayong mga migrants, ito ang goal no na maging resident ng New Zealand. So what I will be discussing is the resident pathway under the skilled migrant category which has its own separate process, no? Brief discussion lang muna ang gagawin ko so that our viewers will know what to expect when they're applying for residence na, no? So, sa New Zealand kasi, under the skilled migrant category resident visa, you cannot outrightly apply for residence eh. So, kailangan mag-lodge ka muna ng expression of interest or EOI application. So, that's number 1. No? So, si Immigration New Zealand, meron siyang mga predetermined factors that an applicant needs to meet bago siya ma-invite to apply for residence. So ano ba yung mga factors na yan? Kasama na dyan yung age, skilled job, qualification, skilled work experience, and meron pang mga ibang factors, no? And gusto ko lang i-highlight, if you're committed to take the study pathway, no, para ma-achieve mo yung residency goal mo in the future, please make sure that you are able to meet the age requirement of 55 years old at the time of your residence visa application. Okay? So, ang EOI, automatic selection point, is currently at 160 points. This means that only applicants who have 160 points or more will automatically be invited to apply for residence. Pero ICE, di ba, due to the current global situation, EOI selections are temporarily on hold. Pero syempre, once the situation has stabilized, we are hopeful that INZ will resume EOI selections dahil ang country natin is heavily reliant on skilled migrant workers to boost its economy, di ba, Ice?
Totoo, Lord.
Okay, so next step naman, kapag na-select yung EOI application mo from the pool of applicants would be the invitation to apply stage. Yan is kapag na-meet mo yung automatic selection point, no, na 160. Invitation to apply or ITA stage. So, in an ideal scenario, ICE, it usually takes 3 weeks after EOI selection bago matanggap ang invitation to apply.
I see, okay.
Tama. And during this stage, the applicant will receive the ITA letter including the list of requirements that needs to be submitted to INZ. So kung included ang family sa residence visa application, they will also need to submit their own set of requirements. Di ba ganyan ang ginawa mo?
Yes, you're very correct, Lord. Relate much.
Oo. And you are only given 4 months to submit hard copies of your supporting documents to Immigration New Zealand. No? Pero if I remember correctly, Ice, di ba, in your case, hindi naman natin sinagad yung 4 months.
Parang ang bilis nga eh, after we receive the ITA, parang excited po tayo, no? Oo, parang 2 weeks lang, Lorns, na isa.
Talaga?
Yes.
Wow, ako parang 1 month.
Kasi ikaw, Ice, delay, di ba?
Hindi. Hindi naman, pero parang 1 month.
Siguro,
wow,
ready kasi ako. Ready na kasi.
Excited eh.
Sobrang ready ni Glyza.
Excited. Sige, go.
So, ayun, after ng ITA would be the residence visa application stage, which is step 3. no? Once your application has been assigned to an immigration officer, they will thoroughly verify your supporting documents to validate the points that you have claimed in your EOI application. Tapos kung meron ka ring offer of skilled employment, it will also be at this stage that INZ will contact your employer to verify your tasks and request for additional requirements from your employer. Yan na yung mga financial documents, di ba? Humihingi from the employer and many other documents. So, importante din talaga na supported ng employer ang inyong residence application, di ba?
I agree. Yes, I agree.
Kasi medyo sensitive din talaga, di ba? Yung mga information and documents na hihingi ni INZ from your employer.
Totoo yan.
Tama. And the applicant may also be subject to an interview by the visa officer. So, ikaw, Ains, na-interview ka ba ng immigration officer mo?
Buti na lang hindi. Buti na lang hindi talaga sila tumawag. Na-approve ng without even interviewing me. So, thank you, Lord.
Swerte ka eh, no? Ako din, actually, swerte.
Ikaw din. Ikaw yung pinakaswerte, Lord. Na.
Walang
kasi
interview.
Agad-agad approve.
Tama, approved in principle na, no? Wala nang interview, walang additional documents na hiningi from you.
Hinulat ka na lang, no? Approved.
Tama. Kaya nga naiyak ako, diba?
Oh my God, I remember, no?
Ang bilis.
Bumabalik eh, bumabalik.
Tama. 3 years ago na pala yon, would you believe? Okay. Sige. So, after ng residence visa application and na-satisfy, no, si immigration officer sa lahat ng requirements na sinubmit ni applicant and ng employer, pupunta na tayo sa last stage, no? Which is the Residence Visa Approval in Principle or AIP. Kasi, again, no, yung AIP na yan, parang formality na lang din yan. Usually, ang hinihingi na lang at that stage is yung passports ng resident applicant, pati yung sa family niya. And kapag na-cite na or na-verify ni INZ ang passports, ayan, susunod na ang electronic residence visa.
Yan na, yun yun. Yan yung sinasabi nating nakakakilig, nakakaiyak, iba't ibang emosyon. No? Wow, Lorna, no? Listening to you still amaze me. No, alam ko na-explain mo na to before, narinig na kita, pero iba pa rin talaga eh, no? Coming for you, eh, no? I have never came across a webinar or any seminar in the Philippines or in any country na nagsasabi ng ganito, top secrets, no? Detailed information, and also that can share this kind of information. So thank you, Lorna, and thank you rin, Glyza, no? And I know a lot of our listeners are really thankful for this. So, I want you to tell me something, guys, okay? So far, how many are you glad that you have made it today? How many of you are glad that you are here today listening to our webinar? Are you learning a lot? Just type, wow. Para may iba naman, wow tayo. Just type in wow. Are you learning? From Lorna, from Glyza, from us. Are you learning today? Sulit ba ang pag-attend nyo sa ngayong Friday? Sulit ba? Type in yes. Wow pala. Type, wow, ang dami nag-wow. Ayan. Wow. With the long O and long W. Alright. Comments are pouring in. Great. Thank you. No, hindi pa tayo tapos dyan. Okay? Dahil meron pa rin pwede pa tayo magbigay ng big secret sa inyo. Lorna, go ahead. What is the common mistake ba sa pag-a-apply ng residency? Sabi ko sa inyo pupunuin namin ito ng valuable information. Go ahead, Lorna.
Tama, Ains, no? I came across an article that said that people waste approximately $10 million a year with their failed EOI applications. So,
ito yung first step, diba? EOI.
Yes, tama. EOI, imagine sa step 1 pa lang, ang dami nang nagkakamali and nawa-waste yung money nila kasi dyan pa lang, sa stage na yan, may bayad na. No? Kasi sa pagpumunta ka sa Immigration New Zealand website, akala mo parang ang dali lang yung i-assess mo yung points mo for residence. Diba kasi, pero, well, gusto ko lang maging honest din no, sa mga viewers natin. It's not as straightforward as it seems. Marami pang finer details yan, yung pag-claim ng qualification, pag-claim ng points for skilled work experience, hindi siya ganun ka-straightforward. No? And dahil nga sa misconception na yan, maraming nasasayang na pera on a yearly basis ang mga potential migrants to New Zealand.
Yes, I agree with you, no? I don't think yung residency visa application is straightforward as it appears in the website. Marami nagsasabi niyan, Lorna, if you know how to speak in English, marami nagko-comment, if you know how to speak in English, if you know how to read, kaya mo yan. But no, coming from an LIA, coming from Lorna, LIA Licensed Immigration Advisor, so thank you, Lorna, no? Ikaw na ang nakasagot doon sa nagsasabi ng mga ganon, no? Thank you, Lorna, for that. All right, guys, do you realize how simple and clear this is? Let us go and recap. No, this is it. This is the process. This is the 5-step process. So let's do a quick 60-second recap of what we have covered so far. Step 1, start with eligibility assessment. You need to check what course you will take, what school, which program is best for you. Then step 2, apply for a student visa. Then once you got approved for the student visa, you will be eligible. Okay, to apply for to work or to study or even bring your family with you. Your partner can work while you study, and if you have dependents, they can also study for free. Pinakamaganda. Step 3, you need to complete the program. Okay, pass all the subjects so that you will be eligible to apply for a post-study work visa. And step 4, with the post-study work visa, you will have a chance to look and get a skilled job for the step 5. Okay, step 5, after gaining points from studying, from your skilled job, and after you reach the required residency points, you may apply for your resident visa. Now, let me ask you a question. Can you follow the simple steps? I want to see you type in a big, loud, all capital letters, energetic, yes. I want you to type in, yes, I can, if you think you can do these steps, if you're committed to do this, okay? If you're excited to do this, type in, yes, I can. All right, I can see a lot of comments right now pouring in. Masyadong mahaba ata yung yes, I can, but yes is okay. Thank you sa mag-effort ng yes, I can, All right, great. Okay, wow. It's pouring in. I can see a lot of yeses, energetic yes, big yes. That's good. Okay, you know what? Listen, I know it's a lot to take in, a lot of the steps. Ang daming diniscuss namin. What we have discussed is such an over to the top of information. This might be overwhelming to you. I understand that. But hey, okay? Hey, let's start again. Don't think of the other steps. I know for some how complicated residency visa is. Residency visa will take a while. All right? You need to think about starting. Okay? Because we cannot complete the whole 5-step process. All right? We cannot complete the whole 5-step process without starting and without doing the initial steps. Right? The 5-step process that we did will be nothing. All right? The 5-step process that we did will be nothing without studying in New Zealand. This was the entry, guys, a window that gave us a chance to study, work, and live permanently in New Zealand.